love rainy days. And since today's rain is here to stay and we can go outside to play, the best thing to do is to get to kitchen and create something that's nice, hot, and delicious. Pasta is a perfect dish for a day like this. What could be better than a homemade ravioli? So we are taking a long way to make a perfect dish. This is the first time kids and I are making homemade pasta, and I'm excited to share this skill with them since my mom was an expert on making pasta. And since we are learning it for the first time, we wanted to learn it with you. So let's have some fun and let's make some pasta. We are ready, but first thing is first, and that is all the gadgets are being set aside. Computers, phones, tablets, everything's put away. The dining table is going to a living room and Mickey's making sure that it's clean and ready to go. Marco's job is to check the pasta machine and make sure that everything works as it should. We are fourth week in isolation due to coronavirus. 4 weeks and 2 times in town. So you can picture how it is to stay at home and how this one occupies time and provide good homemade meals every day. Well, I think this is a great opportunity to teach your kids something traditional, something old, and to bring and revive recipes from our grandmothers and great-grandmothers. So my mom was a queen of pasta, and if I didn't come to US, I would never know the ravioli or Italian dish because my mother used to make this all the time. One exception, she didn't have the little machine, she did everything by hand. So kids and I today are trying to recreate that pasta recipe that my mom used to make. I never made pasta on my own, but I have seen it made so many times. I don't think we're gonna fail. So Michaela here has 5 cups of flour, and she's just making a little indentation where we're gonna pour about a half a cup of warm water and about a tablespoon and a half of salt. Okay, Mickey, would you break the eggs? Pasta making will be a great learning experience for Michaela. She's doing this for the first time, and important thing that she's going to learn today is how to feel the pasta texture, how the dough should feel like, and also how to mix. As you can see from the beginning, she has learned a lesson number 1, which is to be careful not to lose the liquidy stuff from the crater that she created in flour. Luckily, this is easily fixed. With little extra work, patience, and just slowly and gradually adding a little bit more moisture, we're gonna have our perfect dough. You should put all the water. Any tradesman would tell you that it's important to keep your tools nice and clean. So Mickey's cleaning her hands and she's getting rid of all the little pieces of the dough that were sticking to her hands. And now we're just gonna add a little bit more moisture and try to combine all these little pieces and crumbs around the dough. As I said, working this dough, it takes a little bit of time and patience, and it is a little bit easier for professionals, but since we're doing this for the first time, I'm purposely letting Mickey do it so that all of you who are watching this program will not get discouraged if things go wrong. Just continue to work on the dough until you are able to bring all the flour and the little pieces and crumbs of the dough from the table into the dough itself. Mickey's doing a phenomenal job on pasta, and what she's doing right now is just incorporating the water and eggs and salt into the dough. This is a very hard dough and very hard to work with, but the key to good pasta is this time that you invest working and making this dough smooth and shiny. So you can picture my mom, who would make pasta not just for our family of 6, but she also made pasta for all the people who work on our farm. So this is a hard work, but yet this was a relaxing thing, as she would say, compared to some of the tasks she had to do on the farm. So she would make pasta like this. She would devote a whole day to making all different kinds of pastas, and especially if it was a sunny day, she would have tables and tables covered in linens, and she would have pasta drying in her yard. And then pasta would be stored in boxes, covered again with the linens, and left in a pantry. So I'm very glad that we have a chance to share this old and traditional way of making pasta, not just with my kids, but with all of you. It's a great activity and it's a great workout. The last 4 weeks, kids and I have spent a lot of time in the kitchen preparing a lot of very delicious and rich meals. One way we're able to maintain our weight was working out on preparing food like this. So I think that's the key. If you have to invest a lot of energy to prepare your meal, you usually deserve it, and you can get away with its richness. Michaela did a phenomenal job on this dough, and she did a hard work. I'm just coming in to kind of bring it all together, and I'm going for this smooth look, a satiny look on outside, which is actually very hard to get. So I'm going to work on it a little bit more, and then I'm going to let it rest before we start stretching it. If you notice, I'm working on the edge of the table because there's a lot of pressure going on, and there is a leg of the table right behind, so you kind of want to work on a surface that's sturdy and strong. So I'm going to give it a little push and get my workout, and then we're going to let it rest. Okay, and we're going to now let the dough rest. You can tell it's a very hard dough, and I'm going to go and work on a pasta sauce while this is resting. Marco is in charge of making pasta sauce, and his version starts with lots of garlic, and I mean lots of garlic. So he's going to pre-cook the garlic until it's golden brown, and then he's going to add about a half a head of onions. Next is a pinch of dry oregano, dry basil, and a pinch of sugar. And let's not forget a little bit of black pepper. And while Marco was working on sauce, Mickey ran to the garden to pick up some fresh thyme for the decorations. Our dough is looking very good, and the sauce is simmering in the kitchen. So next thing is mixing up the cheeses. Since we don't go to stores as often as we used to, we're trying to use up what we have in the fridge. And what we had is a goat cheese, feta cheese, mozzarella, and Parmesan cheese. Kids voted out goat cheese, so we'll just go with these 3 cheeses. And although the best thing for ravioli is to have ricotta, Parmesan, and mozzarella cheese, we don't have a ricotta, so we'll just go with a little bit of feta cheese. So about a cup of feta, 2 cups of mozzarella, and a cup of Parmesan. Couple of eggs, a pinch or 2 of fresh parsley, a little bit of salt, and that will do, right? So Mark, do you want to help me?
Sure.
Okay, mix the cheeses. Okay?
Just double check.
Yeah, mix the cheese. Okay, good job on parsley, Marco. Really good. It smells so good. Okay, here's the parsley. So we have about 2 tablespoons, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll give you the spoon. Here you go. Here's a spoon, okay? A couple of eggs, and Mama will go and check on the sauce while you do that, okay? A couple of eggs, these brown ones. Okay, I'm also going to add some salt. Not too much because we already have a feta cheese in. So Mark was mixing the cheeses and the eggs, and the mixture is looking a little bit too dry because if we don't have a ricotta in, if we did, the texture would have been much more moist. So to compensate for moisture, we'll just add one more egg. Watch out, honey. Okay, mix it up now, see what happens. Okay, cheese is looking good, and as you can tell, the weather has changed. Suddenly we have a heavy clouds over us, so it got a little bit darker. But change of weather or not, we are ready to start working on the pasta. Our dough is well rested, and so are we. So we are now ready to go to the phase 2. But before we do, I just want to quickly show you how beautiful dough looks inside. This is a great consistency. Before we start stretching the dough, Mickey and I will invest just a little bit more time in forming the dough. This gives us a chance to catch up on all kinds of things. But hold your horses, because the tough part is not done yet. Now we need to stretch the dough. And as you can tell by Mickey's struggle, this is not an easy dough to stretch. A little bit more work and persistence will pay on the end. So for now, I'm going to teach Mickey how to stretch the dough without investing too much energy into it. I'm trying to advise her to go always from the middle of the dough, either up or down or sideways. So this way, the dough will stretch the best. But as you can see, Michaela had a different idea. She definitely got tired, and she was challenging my technique, thinking that perhaps hers will work better and it will be easier on her hands. All right, so now we're just gonna thin the dough for the machine. And when I was a kid, my mom had a different rolling pin. It was about this thick, and the thickest part was in the middle, and the rest, it kind of went smaller and smaller. And now when I work with the dough, I understand why. She needed more pressure in the middle of the dough. And a long time ago, I mean, she did all this by hand. She didn't have a machine. So she would have to work with the dough until the dough became very, very, very thin. So here, today, I'm just thinning it enough for the machine, and then we'll make it easier for ourselves. This, by the way, takes lots of skill, because my mom used to make angel hair out of this pasta, and you know how thin that is. But she was an expert. She was really, really good at this. And as I said, you know, the tables will be covered in all kinds of different pasta in all thickness. This is definitely a workout. So we'll just go ahead and cut strips. This. A pizza cutter would have been easier and better, but I'll admit I'm lazy to go and get it. Okay, and I'll cut these in half. And then we're gonna run it through the machine. Our heavy equipment guy is giving us his approval. Equipment is in good shape, and we are ready to start rolling. Running this little machine is lots of fun. So what Marco and Mickey are doing, they are trying to stretch the dough to the desired thickness. So machine is set up to have 7 different levels or thicknesses of the dough. So we're going to start with number 6. All the dough will be taken through number 6. Then we're going to take it to number 4. From there we're going to go to number 2, and then we will decide if we need to run it even thinner. Didn't I warn you that it's hard to contain laughter and fun when making pasta? So it's really good to see that my kids are having fun, and I trust if you could do something like this with your kids will have a blast as well. So in any case, Mickey's working on a second batch of pasta. She's going to thin it out, and then we'll just cut it and get it ready for the machine. For those of you who are watching this and thinking, this is way too much work, I have one message for you, and that is, this is way too much fun as well. So expect to get infected with laughter and joy while you make pasta. And finally, we are here at the last step of rolling out pasta. We're choosing to go with level 1, which is the thinnest way to make pasta. We want our ravioli to be a little bit on the thinner side. Our goal is to have a less pasta and lots of cheese in our ravioli.
So, in order to get the ravioli shape you want, you have to kind of tuck them in individually, one at a time. This way you'll get that kind of big triangle shape.
This is the most fun part about making ravioli, and probably one of the most important parts as well. Because what we're trying to do here is to make sure the upper layer of dough wraps tightly around the cheese and that it sticks well to the bottom dough. So this way we will prevent any cheese leakage. As you can see, we don't have the professional ravioli cutter, so we are using one of our cookie cutters, which will do just fine. One of our cookie cutters doesn't have the little ruffles on the side, so we are finishing the ruffles using the fork. They look very pretty this way, and the fork will secure and help keep the cheese inside. This is all going so well, and it's so much fun. I think a glass of wine is the most appropriate. I can't pass the opportunity of making pasta and having fun with kids and all the good smells, and we have a music in the background, Italian music. I think it would be sin not to say salute. Do you know I grew up right next to Italy, and I hardly can say a word in Italian, but let's pretend. Last night we were watching something in Italian, and the accent was just so beautiful. Language is phenomenal. I wish I could speak it. So here's my version of Italian. And by the way, we're having a competition who has the best looking ravioli.
Kayla's winning. She has the best looking ravioli. And she named him Michael, like all the good Italians.
I fail terribly at speaking an Italian accent. So for now, I'm just going to be thankful that at least I know how to cook. This was fun. They are ridiculous. They gave me a hard time throughout the whole process, but you can tell they were laughing and having fun. And to me, mission accomplished. Okay. To some, I would be considered as an old world kind of parent, maybe a little bit strict, or stricter than most of my friends. So this is a reason more to show my funny and spontaneous side to my kids. Mission accomplished. You know, I'm teaching them something while they're having fun. That works for me. Salute. Mother needs a little more wine.
Meatball.
No, you're not saying it right. I'm making the meatballs with the cheese.
No, but Mama was filming and you just looked at me going,
She just looked at the camera, she went.
Meatballs up with the cheese. Oh, you vegan? Okay, I make love.
You know it, no meat? It's okay, I make lamb.
Quality family time is good for so many reasons, and one of them is that siblings can build closer relationship and lasting bonds.
He's a squishing a Michael. Why are you squishing a Michael?
Jamie wants to sit down somewhere, so Jeremy sat
Jeremy?
You're squishing a Michael.
Don't let me help you with that.
You squishing my cheese and meatball. I squish together cheese and meatball.
Hold on, look. You've got a hole in yours.
If you would touch a Michael.
Smack that boy. He's bullying him. He deserves a spanking.
He touched my meatball Michael. My ravioli Michael.
I am passionate and a firm believer that we all need to invest more of our time into a quality family time.
He's my ravioli Michael. That's all I have to say.
Making a change like that will help us raise healthier and happier kids.
You know you
With all this said, we are ready to move to the next stage. So let's put the big pot of water to boil and start making a dinner. Ooh, I almost forgot. So I want to tell you what to do with the leftover of pasta. No food should ever go to waste, especially if it's a homemade pasta. Mickey and I went back to re-kneading the dough, and out of this batch we are making homemade spaghetti. So this is a part 2 where we're making homemade spaghetti with the leftover dough, and if you can see, it's coming out beautiful. So let me show you where we're gonna take it and what we're gonna do with it. All right, the whole house smells like pasta, and we are leaving one bed just for that. Okay, this looks like a beautiful necklace. So we're gonna separate them a little bit. We're gonna give the pasta a chance to dry, and then we will store it. There we go. It's looking good. My pasta making skills are just one of the things I brought from the old world. It's amazing to witness how much of impact our childhoods have on us. Just like my grandma used to do, I too can live without growing things. So as you can see here, I have a bunch of different containers, and each one is growing something special in it. And there is a perfectly good explanation for that. My nonprofit organization is distributing seeds to my community to encourage other families to start gardening and spending more quality family time in nature, growing their own food with their kids. Growing for yourself is wonderful, but growing for and with others, it's even more fun. Just this year, we're donating thousands of vegetable seeds to our community. Let's get back to dinner and to finishing up ravioli. For that, you're gonna need a pot of hot water and a little bit of salt. Once ravioli are set to boil, this is a perfect opportunity to take a much-deserved break. Raviolis don't take too long to cook. So basically, once they pop up to the surface, you need about 2 to 3 extra minutes, and then you should be done.
Michael.
Once cooked, transfer them to a strainer so that we can get rid of all the fluids and the excess of water. Let them drain for about a minute to a minute and a half. Arrange them nicely on a plate where you don't have more than 2 layers on top of each other. And now we're just going to pour this simple sauce. Generally, we don't want to use too much sauce. A sauce is here just to complement the flavors of cheese and pasta. Perfect. We have all these good cheeses, fresh homemade pasta, lots of garlic in our sauce, and we are now adding really good olive oil. And this is crucial in a dish like this because good quality olive oil will add that peppery taste to the whole dish. A touch more of Parmesan. It would be even better if you can shred your own. And we are ready to serve. A dish like this deserves to be served in its best edition. And for that, we're going to add a little bit of fresh thyme. What could be better on a cold, rainy day than spending the day with your family and sharing a plate of hot homemade pasta? And finally, it's time for a family dinner and some quiet, quality family time. Thank you all for watching and for spending time with us. If you like this program, I would encourage you to check my nonprofit organization and help us support quality family programs like this. To find out more about Vlada Seeds of Life and our initiative for healthier and better connected families and communities, please visit www.vladab.com. Thank you for your support.